Hey, hey, hey. I am live today with my sister,
Michelle.
Mashiba Webb.
Hey, how are you?
Say hi to everyone. I am Barbara Bankson. I am your purpose coach. I am a pastor. I am a mentor. I am a friend. I am a sister. And I am a mother. And so today I am on here with my sister, Mashiba Webb. Mashiba, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well. Oh my goodness. My name is Mashiba Webb. I am a gospel recording artist. I'm a caterer and private chef, and I'm a massage healer. And I have a syndicated radio TV show called The Mashiba Webb Show, and it is global. So that's a lot, right?
That's a lot, but that's a lot of good stuff. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, I actually am on Mashiba's relationship show. I'm the relationship guru on the relationship show. We have an amazing time. I also get the chance to listen to them every week, whether I'm on there or not. And it's been I will say that some of the shows, you got this one coming up this week. That was just, you're doing a tribute. Man,
Oh,
that thing just, when I tell you that touched me, it
listen.
was like,
Don't get me started. See, I was cool at first. Now you done made me lose it. Okay.
that thing right there, I when I saw that, I was like, wow, it's I don't yeah.
Listen, if you know anything about DJ Rogers, man, listen. Even if you don't, you go find DJ Rogers on YouTube, okay, and look up his gospel album. Just whew, and that baby, I tell you, listen. God is good. Okay. This show is going to be absolutely amazing because he was a iconic. DJ Rogers was an amazing writer, amazing artist, a gifted he his conversation piece was amazing. He was just an amazing man all the way around. And I am just honored to be able to do this show for real.
That is
I was
it was when I mean, I was almost in tears when I saw it. I was like, wow, this is really, really about to be a
It
very good show.
is. It is. It is. And the young lady who does my flyers, she was on vacation and she got back. She was tired and she sent me the flyer. And I said, mm-mm. And this is my first time saying no. I said, no, this is not it. I said, wait till you rest and then redo the flyer. Man,
Right.
baby, when I said that, she woke up and she did that thing. And I had tears in my eyes, like
Yeah.
literally she just captured
Everything
everything.
that yeah. I mean, because I
Everything.
looked at it, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know who he is, but I looked at it and it shook something in me just by looking at it. So I'll
I'm
just be
trying
honest.
to tell you because this baby, and I haven't even had a deep conversation with her, but she needs healing. I mean, she's in a healing process and still probably grieving her father. And for someone to reach back and just remember her dad and help
Yeah,
her remember and introduce him more to the millennials, man, what? And I'm just honored to be able to do it.
absolutely. Hey
Um,
Jay. Jay, my favorite. He's my favorite faithful. He's one of my old classmates, one of my friends. That's my boy.
oh, hi,
He is
Jay.
on tonight. Hey Jay. Think I saw that my mother was on. So hey mom. I am
Yeah.
on tonight. If you have not, if you missed that part, I am on with Mashiba Webb, and we are going to unpack and unwrap domestic
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is that silent. That's that silent situation that happens in the lives. Yeah, you my OG.
Yeah.
It's a silent. It's that silent. It's a silent. I won't call it the silent killer, but it's the silent trauma that happens in the lives of the victims, really, because people are really victims of domestic violence. As I was prepping for the show, I originally said, I've never been a product of domestic violence. And then as I began to unwrap that a little more, and I began to just think about forms of domestic violence, because forms of we usually think about when we think of domestic violence, we think of it with
Fighting,
fighting,
physical. Yeah.
physical. But
It's not
domestic
always like
violence, yeah, domestic violence is more than that. It's physical, it's verbal, it's emotional, it's economic, it's religious,
Yeah.
it's
Definitely.
sexual, and this can happen to just not women or men. It can happen to children, it can happen to parents, elderly, domestic abuse. All these things are mental abuse. You're right, Jay, mental, right?
Come on now. Come on, Jay. We heard that. That was good.
That was real good. And
Real good.
that's mental, like even with parents or with and with your but it has to be an intimate relationship, right? Usually this, when you think of domestic violence, it's usually someone that you trust. It's someone that you should be found safe with. It's someone that, that's why it can happen with beyond just a partner. It could happen with a parent, because children should be safe with their parents. Parents should be safe with their children, that their children
Yeah.
won't abuse them, right? Pastors, domestic violence, right? Because
You know, I
emo-
mean, it.
emotional, mental. Like we
Whew.
did a show, we even did a show when we were talking about bestiality in the pulpit,
And I was just thinking that. I'm trying to tell you, this is God tonight. Okay, boom, Shakita.
we had that, and that's pretty much just domestic violence when shepherds take advantage of their sheep. And so, or leaders, not, it doesn't even have to be
Yeah,
the
that's
pastor, it
it.
could be other leaders, people who are, and they take advantage. And so we're going to try to unwrap, not try, we're going to unwrap some of these areas. We're not going to be on too long, because this could be a very long
And
situation, but
good
um,
too.
we're going to be on long enough so that we can just kind of unwrap it and just really share stories, and share points of recovery, right? And so I want you to share, because you have multiple, I think, places, and looking at it from the perspective of, I've never physically been beat on. Like, I don't even know if I've ever been hit. I don't think I've ever been hit,
But
right?
you a fighter though.
Now, I don't know if everybody, I can't say that I've never hit nobody.
Ting.
But it
And
wasn't domestic violence. Them jokers wanted it because they was out there beating on the street, girl.
But I get it. I get it. I know what you're saying. It's not like the boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife kind of thing. Not like that. But yeah, I get it. You've never been in a domestically violent relationship where you were consistently abused
I
physically.
was never physically. Now we got to go back, because we talked about, I want to make sure that we shape this right. I'm
Yeah,
going to repeat again. I was never in a physically abusive relationship. That is
right.
not my story. Have I been in abusive relationships, domestically abused relationships? Absolutely. Emotionally and mentally beat down to my core. I mean, I've shared and talked about that, like to the point of, I might need to go get some help, right? Like, and I ain't talking about a person, right? I'm talking
Right.
about, like, I might need to, I don't know. I needed something, because I want, at that point, there comes a point, I think, when you're in a domestic situation. Now, I have coached people who have
Mhm,
been domestically, physically, and I
mhm,
have, in my youth, I have been friends. I was the one who was a fighter. So I'll be like, I didn't have a problem fighting a dude, because I had brothers, right? So I didn't have a problem fighting because of
uh-huh,
my brothers. I knew they would have my back. So I think that might have been my protection. Maybe, it's not like they didn't want to, but they couldn't, right? But I've had friends, they could have, but they just would have, it would have been some problems. But I've had friends when I was younger that were very extremely close to me, who had been a part of domestic, and I would be the,
instigator.
no, you ain't about to jump on her in front of me, because we about to
Oh,
scrap.
you was about to scrap. You was.
Yeah, you know, you gonna have to whoop my butt then, right? I'm not playing that. I mean, I'm not gonna let you get beat down in front of me. That's just wasn't.
I don't mess with BB. You talking about you ain't had no intro. I'm gonna sing your intro in a minute. And I'm singing the whole song. Go ahead.
So share with us, because although that's not my story, and that's typically the way that we look at domestic violence. I want you to kind of share and just unwrap with us, because I want to get to the healing version. But before, I think sometimes we run to healing, or we run to getting out of that place. But I think when we find ourselves in places, what no matter what it is, when it's domestic violence, it's usually with somebody that you love and care about. And that's the reason why you stay there and even allow it. Most people don't take one. It's when they're in those type of relationships or those type of situations, that's a cycle of something. It usually goes on for a length of time before they
Yeah.
even recognize that it is trauma, that it is violence, that they are being violated. So I would love to hear your story from the physical side of when you know you've been in a domestically violent situation.
Okay, so a lot of people would look at me and they meet me and they would say, ah, she ain't never really who gonna abuse her? She's too strong willed. She's too
Mm-hmm.
she has too much gust in her wind. True, but mine came when I was on drugs. Okay, so I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car. I was on drugs, and I met this gentleman in my father's church. um I was tired, um and I was also hurting at that point. My ex was
Mm-hmm.
getting divorced. He was divorcing me, and he was getting ready to marry another young lady. And we were married for 12 years, had 3 children. Everybody that knows me, when I talk about Clinton, I talk about him in a light that he was the love of my life. Listen, the person that you was supposed to be with, it was a divine connection. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we can do things to mess that up completely. And so that's what it was. And so if I hadn't have messed it up, we probably would have still been together today. So that's when I speak of him, that's where I'm coming from. In every biblical sense, that was my husband. You know what I mean? He was my first husband. I had his children, and he was getting married. And I met Michael in the church, in my dad's church. He was a bass player. And I was lonely, I was hurting, and I grasped onto him. Um, and I came back to God, tried to stop the drugs. I did off and on, but me and him, he was schizophrenic and I didn't know it. So that was one big underlying issue that I didn't know until it was too late. Um, but because I didn't love him, and because, I didn't love him the way a wife should love a husband, and I didn't marry for the right reason, he loved me, so he couldn't understand why he loved me so much and I didn't love him. I was hurting, I was broken, and I just did
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, and so we would get into arguments and things, and he would just blow up. He would have this blow up factor, like he would just completely just blow up, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I'm a yeller. My voice is very loud. I have big lungs. I'm very vocal. And a lot of it was talk back then. I was trying to get high, basically. I just didn't want to, every time he come with that, I just go. And one day I was going to work, getting ready to go to work, and we got in this argument, and it turned into he just turned around and pushed me to the floor. And as I was trying to get up, he took the brass lamp and back the my brass lamp had 3 pieces, so he like screwed them all together to make this huge big piece of brass. And he took that brass lamp, and as I was trying to get up, he hit me over the back of my spine. And I didn't know that he had cut me, but I went on to work. I was like, so my back's hurting. I'm like, I know I got hit hard, but it's like hurting more than normal. So I went in the office and I lifted my shirt and I asked my boss, I was like, there's something wrong with my back. And it was all bruised and it was a cut like an inch deep. Doggone near, you could see white meat. Um, my shirt was all bloody up under when I went in the bathroom. She was like, Mashiba, what is going on? And so I told her what was going on. From then, that alarmed my job. Um, I'm gonna move to the probably the worst scenario. My kids were with me one day, and we got into this argument, and I broke his phone. He was talking to somebody that wasn't his wife. So I broke his phone. And like I said, I didn't know that he was hearing voices. So this man ran at me. And when I say he ran, he wailed back and he punched me in the face and my neck snapped back. And I just like, oh Lord, what's going to happen now? Because my whole body at this point was limp. God said, tuck your head in, head to chest, and just fall. And that's what I did. I just fell back and my neck snapped back like that. And then I got up again. My kids here. I thought I was a G at the time. You know what I mean? I'm like, my baby's here. I'm not staying on the ground. I get up. He runs. His brother at that time standing in between us. His brother's like this. He ran in between and came up and down and cut my head. And at that time, his brother had my hand, and I just lost it. And I swung back, and I'm like, okay, after all the smoke clears, something's wrong with my neck. Something's wrong with my neck. Something wrong with my neck. So I go to the hospital. They tell me nothing's wrong with my neck. I go to Beaumont maybe 150 times in that year. And they told me, they was like, the 150 times, they was like, you know what? Your drug seeking behavior, there's nothing wrong with your neck. I'm like, okay. I told God with tears in my eyes, I said, Lord, you know something's wrong. I said, but since these people are treating me like I'm not nothing, I'm not coming back up in here. I'm done. Okay. I've had enough.
Mhm.
And at that time, 3 knocks on the door. The young man walks in the room. He says, Mashiba. I was like, yes. What do you want? Like, I don't want to talk to nobody else. He's like, I know what's wrong with your neck. If you come to my office tomorrow, I promise you, I'll get you right. He said, no matter who's in line, call the office, tell them you need to be here at 10 a.m. and you be here at 10 a.m. He said, I guarantee you, I'll find out. I'll show you what's wrong with your neck. That man took one x-ray and my neck was broken. My neck was broken in 2 places. My neck was so broken until it was barely, the place where it was broke was a major bone in my neck. And I remember just breaking because somebody found what was wrong with me, and I can remember the rage that I felt, like, like my neck is broke.
So are you trying to say that you went to Beaumont all them times and they could never find it? They took x-rays?
X-rays, CAT scans, with contrast, without contrast, you name it. I've been through the ringer. 150 visits in 1 year. And those
And they
folks looked at me and told me there was nothing wrong with my neck. And their doctor in the hospital upstairs took one x-ray, held the x-ray up to the thing. He said, there's your broke neck. And I promise God, it was as clear as day. And I'm thinking to myself, how could y'all miss it? But I was so overwhelmed with emotion because y'all finally found it. But then I was tripping at the same time because I'm like, he broke my neck. Like, how do you break a woman's neck? How do you do that? You know, I
so
get it.
so after he broke your neck, how long did you two stay in this relationship?
Oh, after that episode, I mean, I skipped from like some of the beginning to way to the very last episode. This was the last episode. After this, he ran to Canada because his brother, when they called the police, they came with guns drawn. They was ready because I had called the police more than one time on him and never pressed charges. So that's one important thing. When you're in a domestically violent relationship, do not cry wolf. Okay? You tell
Mhm.
those people what happened. You have to be honest and you have to be open. I didn't want, I loved him. I felt like I loved him, but that really wasn't love. I cared for him. He was, I mean, and let's talk about another form. We was talking about mental abuse. When I was on drugs, this man would hold out money until he knew that I wanted to get high.
Oh.
So this is the type of domestically violent relationship I was in with him because he knew that, I was his wife. But as his wife, I didn't want to, I wasn't in love with them, so I didn't want to sleep with them. So to get what he wanted, he would give me money. How
Jay
messed up.
said where he at now, he greasing his elbows up and he
Where
want to
is
go
he
back.
at now? I'm gonna tell you where he at right now. He just got remarried. He's on Facebook. Um, I really, I guess I'm still raging probably because I never got closure. I never got closure, and I felt like after years after I seen him, he called in a radio show. I was on a radio show with Walter Davis, and that man called in years later after he had broken my neck, and I hadn't heard from him. And since he had ran to Canada after he broke my neck, that was my first time hearing from him. He actually called in to say hello to me and congratulate me on a radio show. So I mean, I'm sure he's still, I mean, every time I see him, I see that spirit in him still, you know. But I was fighting it back. So I didn't call it domestic violence at the time. That's probably why I didn't press charges on him because I
Hmm.
felt like I was fighting back. So I felt like if I was getting my licks in, then it's not domestic violence. But I had to always look over my shoulder because if I wasn't giving him what he wanted, then he
That's
was,
still domestic violence, even if you
yeah,
have to, because sometimes you have to fight back. Because if you don't fight back, the punishment, the punishment for whatever they feel they're punishing you for is far greater, right? I mean, so you got to defend yourself to keep it off. But that does not mean that it's not domestic violence because you choose to talk back, fight back, or defend yourself. It does
yeah.
not mean that you're in this place of violence.
Mm.
But I want to go back to something you said. You said that you wanted closure. Do you still feel like you need closure?
Something he did the last time he was with me, and I got to actually sit down and talk to him like I'm talking to you. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I said, at that time when I was talking to him, it was maybe 7 years after I had had the surgery to my neck.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I had 5 neck surgeries to repair this one bone that he broke. And when he broke the bone, it shattered 3 discs in the top of my spine and still ruptured a disc at the bottom of my back. And I work every day with a ruptured disc in my back. You know what I'm saying? There's a bone up here, right up here in my neck, that they're saying is disintegrating just from all the trauma. So I'm like, okay, all right, it is what it is. But I asked him, would he help me with some of the financial issues that I was having with my neck? Because I mean, at the time, I didn't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So the state was helping me. They would pay some of the bills. And I forget, it was a situation going on why I didn't have insurance, but I did receive some help. But I would have to buy a lot of stuff out of pocket. And he took me to the store and I thought he was gonna buy the stuff. He helped me pick it all out. You should get this, you should get that, and we put everything on the counter. And he didn't pay for it. I pulled out my card and paid for it. So after that, I was just like, I shouldn't ever have to pay for anything. If I'm with you, I shouldn't ever. And this was after the fact. This was about 2014, 2015. Is the last time that I seen when he came to my place of residence where I was staying. That was the last time. And then I seen him in church because he still plays at the churches in Detroit. Michael Patrick McGuinn, he's out there playing the bass, light skin. He doing his thing. But
You
he
put his
was.
you put his whole name out there.
I
My God.
did. I did. I did because
So
mm,
I just
mm,
want to speak to the place of you needing closure. Sometimes we have to know that we don't need closure, right? Because what could he obviously say? What could he literally do to give you any kind of recompense, like to
you're right.
repay?
You're
And
right.
so I think sometimes we feel like we need closure in some areas, but if we really look at it, what could he say that would all he could say is he's sorry,
Just
right?
want to let it go. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have to learn to be able to go within ourselves and not need that person in order for us to close that door, right? And that's a part of the healing process,
It
right?
is. It is. It is. And I find myself still being emotional about it because you
Oh,
know, I
absolutely.
went through a lot of pain. I still have pain every single day, just from that one injury. But a lot of, like I said, a lot of it I provoked it because it's mouthy, but I don't know. I guess you shouldn't let a woman's words provoke you to hitting someone, huh?
I don't know that you can, I don't know. I mean, I think it's tough. Again, I will say that I have been I'm ashamed, not shame, but usually it's because
Don't be.
they did something to me, right? That I
Period.
haven't touched anyone in a few years. I mean, in a long time.
You are feeling so much conviction over this. What is going on?
Because because I don't want it to be misinterpreted, but I would fight, right?
Right,
I would fight.
right.
Would nobody get, I grew up with brothers, so I wasn't gonna let nobody
Yeah,
get down on me. And that's just
yeah,
that, right? That's just what it was. And so I
yeah.
decided that's something that I decided, and I knew I had the back of my brothers. Even now, like I could call my brothers up now, and they
They are
probably
down.
like,
They
yeah,
ready.
they,
Waiting. They are waiting to come out the gate. Baby, they waiting. I'm trying to
but they're like, ma'am, can we? You 50,
right
but they still down. But if I call my brothers, they're coming. And
now.
so I think that I remember what every time that I had anything got me to a physical place in my mind is usually the first time that I actually hit somebody is because I was dating someone who was known to hit on women,
Yeah.
and they ran up on me. And in my mind, I said, "Uh-oh, is he about to try to hit me?" So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get him first.
Th- That's what I'm trying to say.
And so it was my first time I was feeling threatened as he was running up on me. And so I was feeling threatened, and then and so then I fought him first. I threw the first lick, and I guess once I threw that
Barbara
once
the
I threw that, it felt, I was like, so I understand the first lick is the hardest lick. It was the first time I had ever hit somebody, but it made it kind of make, that first lick is the hardest time when it's physical. Then after that, it becomes easier to hit is what I'm getting at.
it does. It does. It does.
And so
And you know
yeah,
what? But you know what? We're gonna give Michael a little bit. We're gonna set him on ice for a little while. We done beat his head down. I done beat him in the head already. I'm gonna let it go. But see, I'm gonna use your platform today. I'm gonna use you, Barbara, like you told me when. I'm gonna use, like Charlotte told me. She said, I'm gonna use you today, Sheba. I'm gonna use you today, Barbara, to make this the last time, because I'm in the process of releasing things, and on my getting my healing on my the inner man. Okay,
right.
if it's something that I can let go, guess what? I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I don't have these problems today in my life. I'm talking
Right.
about this is my experience of past. Now I kind of just
When I say let it when
I
I
don't
say
allow
let it
things to
go,
feed.
I meant the needing closure from my,
Yes, you definitely need to
that's what I'm
let
talking
that
about.
go. Yes, you
Yeah,
definitely need to let that
yeah,
go, because I
yeah,
believe that there's things that we just don't need.
yeah.
We
Because
don't need closure for.
the
And
Lord
they
is telling
literally
you to keep going back over
right.
and over it, and you're not getting anything from it. It's not, at first it was therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm in a healed place, so I
Yeah,
can't. It's okay to let it go now. It's like a baby. I've been carrying the hurt around for so long.
yeah. And it
Anybody
has
can
no
understand
value. It has no value to you at this point. But I
my,
do want to talk about something else. So
yeah.
this brings me to this. So there's a such thing as and if this is going to be too touchy for you, then you just tell me, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um Intergenerational cycles
Mm-hmm.
of violence or trauma. So pretty much what I'm talking about is our children see us in situations, or how we, and this happens regardless. Like, but we can use physical abuse. They see us being emotionally abused. They see us being verbally abused, and then it becomes this cycle of
Listen,
abuse.
you just verbalized what I was thinking before when you were talking. I was thinking it. what you just
Yeah.
said. You just verbalized what I was
Yeah.
saying. I said, how am I going to say this? And you
Yeah.
just came right out and
Yeah, because I think that our children, when they see
crazy.
this, you know, we
Too
as we
much.
live our lives out loud before our children, even if we're trying to live them in silence, because you living out loud, whether you living it in private in your home or if you living out loud in the public, right?
You're watching.
Because your kids are up close and personal, so they get to see the things that
Yes.
don't nobody else see. And so
Yes.
as you're living your life out loud,
Woo!
what we inadvertently do sometimes is we create this intergenerational, where generations and generations keep going through this cycle of abuse, or they be either they're the abuser, or they are the or they are, or they allow someone to abuse them, one or the other. You know, they are so adamant about not allowing this to happen to them because they've seen it happen, they've seen this play out, or they are the one that actually does it, right? And so or because if a child is abused as a child, we see this all the time. Most of the time, predators or pedophiles, they've been messed with, right? Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time they have been victimized, right? As a child, someone touched them. They were innocent.
Woo!
Somebody touched them, and then they turned them, and now they're repeating that cycle. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, because I really believe, so we understand that there's two things. You don't have, one of the things you said earlier about your situation is we have, as domestic situations, whether or not you were in a domestic situation, even though you felt like I was fighting back, so you didn't feel like you should say anything. And one of the things
Yeah.
you said is get help, right? You shouldn't stay in this
Yeah.
domestic situation,
No,
right?
no, 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 no.
Now let's talk about this intergenerational thing, right?
I
Where
think
we
it's an
either pass,
intergenerational curse.
yeah,
Real
it is a
talk.
generation.
I watch my kids. I watch my kids. And when you understand that it is something generational, something that your kids seen you do, it's rough getting the you out of your child.
Right.
I'm say it again. It's really, really, really rough getting the old you out of
Hmm.
your child. Cause it's
And the
like a
crazy
mirror.
and the crazy thing that I find, like even with my kids, so there's things that my kids never saw, because I have probably been saved almost all of their whole life,
You
right?
came
Like
out the
say
womb like I'm saying.
I'm talking about save, right?
Right,
Like
right.
speaking in tongues, Holy Ghost filled, praying in the room, anointed, all of that kind of save.
Wow.
But there was a season of my life that BB, there's a person that a lot of people know me as BB.
She
So BB,
lives within me. It's
I'm
BB.
Barbara.
Okay.
Then, but there was this person named BB, and she was
Yeah.
just a little different. My kids kind of, I changed my life, and I began to change who I was and my decisions and my choices when I started having children. So I began to change. And I found that when I began to change my life according to that, but I still see some of me.
Yeah. And you know what?
And that's
It's
not something
scary.
that they see. So I want you to be clear that you already got to battle with the things that's generational, that they don't even know,
Yes.
that they haven't seen, that they haven't been exposed to. But
Period.
then when you're showing them something, that's even, so now you're battling the unknown plus the known, because now some of it is learned and some of it is just generational. And so
Exactly.
let's try to unwrap this a little bit for the people.
Listen, I've watched my children literally do the same things, make the same mistakes, do the same language, the same movements, everything. You feel me? And it's scary. It is scary, but I learned to step back. There's nothing that I can do. You have
Mm-hmm.
situations like that. You do anything? Could your mama do anything with you at that? I'm not you, Barbara. I'm just saying in general.
No, my
You know
mama
what I'm
had
saying?
theirs. I was not perfect. I'm clear on
Right,
this, right?
right, right. No, but I'm saying in general, like as like that person's mom probably couldn't do. You was probably a mess too, is what I'm saying. So seeing my children go through some of the same things that I did, and now I'm on the other side looking like you. It ain't even got to be like that. Like if you would just listen to me, you know what I'm saying? Like I can navigate you. You ain't even got to fall in that pit at all. But that's not the what millennials not. They don't like listening at all. They
They
think
don't
they
like
need to
listening. But so I have found with my kids, I have been very intentional about creating these amazing relationships with my kids. I think I have a good relationship with all my kids. Don't they still make some choices that I am not very fond of, but
right.
have a relationship. But my ability to have a relationship means that sometimes I get to speak to what the decision that they're making. I get to speak to it beforehand. And I actually had one of them once tell me, yeah, but let me make my own decision. I'll be like, you can make your own decision, sir, but I'm trying to help you so that you don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
So you can use my wisdom or you cannot. And so, but I understand what you're saying. It's like, you don't get to run my life and you don't, and I'll be like, I'm not trying to run your life. But what I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to be like the children of Israel. You don't need to take 40 days for a day journey or a year journey or a month journey or a 2-day journey. You literally can find yourself stopped you can make one move and be stuck in that thing for years, and not even to mention the trauma and the pain that you capture in that moment, right? You could be stuck in something for 3 months. If you didn't listen to me, you could be finding yourself in something for 6 months.
And you could have been out of it 45 minutes ago.
No, if you would have listened to me, you wouldn't have dealt with it for 6 months.
That's what I'm saying. If you had listened, you would have been out of it 45 minutes ago when I started telling you to listen. But you didn't want to listen.
So I think that so I don't know that there's a right or wrong way, but I do believe that we always have to keep the lines of communication open with our children so that we can have a voice with them. I am not a part of the crew that says, well, just let them make their mistakes. We all got to make our mistakes. No, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I cannot wrap my mind around it. I cannot concede to it. I believe that my children should not have to go through the same levels of pain and trauma and disappointment and hurt and anything that I lacked in my life was not because my mama didn't have it. It's because I chose the wrong choices. And I just believe that my kids don't have to choose some of those things. I pray that over my children's life all the time, that they shall never know lack a day of their life. There's things that I pray habitually over their life. I declare it over their life, but at the same time, I just don't pray. I try to do it in practicality. The reason why you will have generational wealth is because, right? The reason why you is because I'm gonna teach you, like, we need to be investors. You got to have some property. You got to get a business and do. So we talk about all these things, but I know there's a lot of people who have the train of thought that you can't say anything to these kids, but I can't concede to that.
My daughter, she's been in a lot of domestically violent relationships, and I just see me all over again, and I think of how my mother she really couldn't. When I got mad, I was mad. It wasn't that nobody could really do, you know what I mean? Just let me be. And so that's where I'm at. I'm like where my mother was. And now
but I want to encourage you not to do that, though. I want to encourage you that as much, and I know I interrupted you.
Hold on, let me finish because I'm where my mother was, but God is guiding me through. He's telling me, he said, you have to be an example. So, and I talked to my daughter the other day, like I'm pulling her aside. When God tells me to pull her aside, I pull her aside and I tell him what thus saith the Lord. I'm like, you know what? God doesn't want you to be miserable. He doesn't want you. You know that I love you, right? Like, I want to clarify and erase any false and any doubt that the devil put in your mind that your mother does not genuinely love everything about you. Like, you are the one I prayed for. I prayed for all of my children, but you were the first. You know what I mean? And I had lost a child before her. But to see my children struggle and strain through life when I know a lot of the times they don't have to, they just want to be grown and they want to do things their way. But sometimes it's not always for you to live it. Sometimes it's for you to listen and for you to take heed and then apply it to your life so you can get a result right there. And then you would have wasted nothing. You would owe nothing. No one would owe you anything, but you got the lesson. So that's
Right.
what I'm at with my children. I want them to wake up. I want them to understand that no matter what you seen, no matter what you heard, get out of that old messed up devil thinking that you when I left, I had a drug addiction. Wake up. Okay.
Right.
Mama's here. She's been here. I'm one of the best mothers there is. When my kids get sick, I stop the press. Okay. I put them in
Mhm.
the bed. I take care of them. I cook for my kids. I clean. I do my kids' laundry. They ain't got to do nothing. I love my children. And
Can
I'm
you do
never
my
going to
laundry?
stop declaring, yes, I love you, BB. Listen,
Can
I
you do my
love
laundry though?
Listen, I will do your laundry, girl. Listen, all you got to do is
I hate laundry.
I ain't playing. Listen, I'm a nurturer. I
But
love doing stuff.
I know that you are a very, very, very good mom. I am gonna actually vouch for that. I know I've
You.
seen
I
you in
feel like I need
action.
some hand claps somewhere. Let me clap for myself.
No,
Hold on.
I'm serious. I've seen you
Woo!
in
Well,
action
thank
with
you.
your children. I've seen you in action with your children. So I know that you are a good mom, right? And so
Thank
I
you,
see you in
Mama.
action at places. I'd be like, "Ah," I'd be almost ready to fight. But you know, I see you. And because I understand you, but I also see that part of you that rise up, that wisdom that supersedes that emotion, right? I see you rise above the emotion of this is my child. I see them being mishandled. I see them being hurt. I see all of this, but I see that wisdom rise up above. And I've seen it in action. I literally have seen this firsthand with you.
Yes,
So I know
yes,
that that is very true. And so I wanted to verbally say that I do believe that one of the greatest things that we can do because we've all lived out our life before our children, and our children have seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, right? And so one of the best tools that we have for our children is to tell them and explain to them and use my mistake as a learning tool for you that you should not, because
definitely.
I need you to know how much of my life got stolen from me because I
Right,
stayed in that thing too long, or I
right.
harbored in that thing, or I held that pain too
Yes,
long, or I didn't let that go. This is the stuff
yes,
that you may never know because I haven't, because we have adult kids. But you know, of course, when they're little, this isn't kind of the stuff that we just bear out our souls to them. But as they're older and we see them in these cycles, baby, that's not gonna work for you. You know how long it took me to live life because I was doing that?
like, do you know how long I was in the wilderness, my baby? Like, do you
Right,
know?
because of my choice. So you shouldn't even, it's not even a place that you should enter into. Like it's not even a place, you don't have to make this choice, right?
You
And so
don't
I
have
think
to.
that we should use those opportunities to really, really share with our children so that
Yes.
they understand that they don't have to stay stuck in a place.
Listen, me and
Absolutely.
me and my children are now we're taking vacation together coming up
Yeah.
and I think we got maybe 15, 16 days. We're going away to the mountains. We have a 3-floor cabin. Okay. Listen, first time I'm having all my grandkids and all my children together in a very, very long time with my husband, a complete family. Listen.
That's good.
It
That's
don't get no
good.
better than that. It don't get no better than that. I get to so what am I doing? I see the me in my children sometimes. I see the fight in them. You
Mhm.
know, like I said, mine wasn't some people are not as strong as others. Some people don't speak up for themselves more than others do. So I was one that was very strong-willed. I spoke up for myself. So I didn't look at myself like a victim. Okay.
Right.
But I truly was a victim. You can be a victim no matter how you look. Okay. Uh,
Right.
but what can you do? What can we do if we know someone is in a domestically violent relationship, Miss Barbara? What are some of the things that we can do?
So most people who are in domestically violent relationships, a lot of the time, it is something that it is very underreported. It's something that they don't want because there's a shame attached to it. There's sometimes a guilt. They sometimes people feel like they deserve whatever they're getting, right? So they can
Mhm.
justify. Most people love their abusers, so they're not willing to really share that they're being abused because they actually love the abuser.
Good. That's good.
Right. And so they're not ready to let go. Most of the time when they're ready to let go is because they are ready to when they tell you is because they're ready to walk away, right? Or when
Yeah.
they extremely need help. So it's important that we understand first, we got to understand the people that we love or that we're close to where you can recognize and see signs of abuse. There's things that you can know about, and that comes from relationships. So you can see and know these signs of abuse when you feel like they may be in abusive situations, and then you're going to have to ask some probing questions. There's people that you can I have the domestic violence hotline number. It's one
Yeah,
eight
give me that
hundred
number. Yeah.
1-800-799-7233. Again, the national number is 1-800-799-7233, because that's a person that you don't know, and that person can help bring you off a cliff, and that person can help you come to safety, because and it'll help take away the shame of the people that you do know, because really it's about, I don't want you to know that I've been being beat, or I don't want you to know that I've been in this anymore. I've been in abusive relationships, right, that were not necessarily physically abusive, right? And so I would never say that I have not been in an abusive relationship, but I remember when I would share, became a shock because I didn't look the part of an abused woman,
That's
right? And
that's
so
it. That's it. That's
I
it.
didn't
That's
I
it.
didn't look the part of somebody who you're not known, like Mashiba's not known. Who gonna jump on Mashiba? Like who? So it
Right.
seems like a foreign concept that somebody gonna cuss you out, or somebody's gonna be belittling you, or somebody's gonna be talking to you condescending, or somebody's gonna, really be talking down on you. That doesn't even, like, you would really allow that, right? But they don't realize that when you love someone, you tolerate things because it's not coming from the position of strength. It's really coming from a place of
Yeah.
love. So you begin to tolerate.
Woo! That's good.
You tolerate things, and sometimes you just sit and be quiet, and it's not even so much as you looking at it as them doing something to you. It's just that if I respond to this, that means I might have to make some decisions concerning this, right? That means I got to acknowledge that you're actually doing something to me that's causing me to be uncomfortable. And so a lot of people don't want to go into that place of acknowledgement. So I would say that if you know somebody who is in those places, be the person that will be there for them. Sometimes you got to, my mother says this all the time, and I say this all the time too. Love shows up. And so if I love you, I just need to show up. Um I all my friends know. I'd be like, "What we doing?" And
Amen.
I'm very blunt with the people that I love. I'm very blunt. I don't hold my tongue even when I know they're fragile. I
Mm-hmm.
make them have accountability. I tell
Mm-hmm.
them, how long are you going to allow this to happen to you?
That's
I
good.
repeatedly tell them how they have control over their lives, because
Yeah.
people that I personally deal with are my age. We're not
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
baby. You don't have to let nobody talk to you like this. You gonna let him dog walk you like that? You're too old. Let's be you.
So Miss Barbara said, start a conversation. Basically, you want to start conversation. If you know somebody's in a domestically violent situation, it doesn't matter what kind, verbal, whatever. Start a conversation. All right, be there for them. Make time for them. What else, Miss
Mhm.
Barbara? You got to learn the warning signs.
You gotta
Okay,
learn the warning sign,
what
and you
are the
gotta know
warning
them,
signs?
because you'll know if they retreat. Like sometimes they'll retreat. If I haven't heard,
Hey,
if I talk to you every day and now I haven't talked to you in 4 days,
and listen, we gonna get into the don'ts, okay, in a second. But listen, you gotta believe the victim, okay?
you
Be
gotta
there for
believe them.
them. Make time for them. Start a conversation. All right. Listen without judgment. That's good.
Yeah, you gotta listen to them without judgment, and you
Right.
gotta. And sometimes they don't need your opinion, right?
Yeah.
They don't need you, and they don't. You that you. And if it's dangerous, you need to give them a way of escape, right?
Validate the victim's feelings, okay? And offer
Mm-hmm.
what you just said, offer specific support. You give her that number to the hotline. Listen, it's people out there just like me. Now, I'm going to put my number out there. It's 248-982-1185 if you feeling like you need somebody to talk to. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. I
Well, I
said,
can't.
give me a call. I
I'm
know.
not
Don't you
giving
put your
y'all
number
my
out
number,
there. Don't you put your number out there, all right? I'll change mine at the drop of a dime, okay?
but inbox me.
This is an inboxer. Hit
Because
her
if
in
you
her
ain't,
DM.
everybody got, I mean, a lot of people got my number. So it's my number is not hard to get. But if you inbox
Yeah.
me, I definitely will. And you know, you can call people on Messenger. So it's not like
Yeah.
you can call me if you
I
really
hate
wanted to call me. But I just am not gonna publicly put my number all the way there.
God. So we have to personalize the safety plan too. Now that's
Yes,
good.
we have to. Yes, you got to give them a safety plan, a way of escape. So you got to give them a place where they can escape. And there's so many. There are a lot of safe havens out here.
It is a lot of shelters. There are a lot of organizations out there helping. Um, the Detroit Rescue Mission. They have more than one, two, three, four houses. They are an amazing group, of organization who helps the homeless. They take in not only men, women, and children. They take in whole families as well. So I don't have the number, but I can get the number right now.
And
Actually,
there's
right in
also,
front of me.
and I think in Mount Clemens, I don't know, is it Turning Point? They have.
Turning Point, and then is it the Salvation Army as well?
Okay, yeah. So I know that they have that in Macomb County. There's some in Warren. There's tons of places out there that are willing to help you.
Yeah.
Um and when somebody's in abuse, let's talk about what you don't do, because I think sometimes, and
Woo!
I've been a victim of this too, where people,
Don't bash the person that's abusing them.
yes,
Don't make it worse than it already is. Sit
I've
down.
had people, I've had people, I've had people do that. When she be like, they
Her
really
feet
will say,
down when she walked through the door because y'all, it's too much.
they'll say stuff like, you can't leave. I don't know if they know that you at that point of jumping off.
Okay, okay, no, but you cannot give conditional support.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay,
Judy said that it's there's a place called the Ellis House.
okay, okay. Come on, Miss Alice. Can you please hold on? Okay, I'll get it myself. Ellis House.
Because we want you to know that there is help. There
Yes,
is
Lord.
literally help out there
Okay.
for you, and you
It's
do not.
literally in my phone, y'all. It's literally in my phone. The Detroit Rescue Mission, the number is 1-313-993-4700. All right, that's 313-993-4700. I want you guys, I put my number out there. I ain't gonna say it again. Y'all have to rewind the tape and look it over again. All right. If you need help, you reach out and you call someone. If you need prayer, if you need clothes, if whatever it is, if you need toiletries, you hungry.
Reach out. I mean, inbox me. If I can't, I have resources. I know people that can. I know I have a little bit of, I'm connected in different places. I will do the
Yes,
work for you if I
yes.
personally can't do it. But be in need. Don't
Don't be,
be
and listen, we got the gift of real discernment. Don't be coming up here and here talking about some fraudulent scheme stuff, okay? Have several seats because we look right through you. All right, right
I've
through
been
your soul. You
I've
better
been a
tell
victim of that. Not a victim of that, but I've had people try that because they ain't victimized me.
girl, listen. I had a guy call me for another girl, for another girl. She was like, we passing her to Sheba. They literally passed baby girl to me. I'm like, They was like, that's what we thought. Thank you. I
Right,
trust the
right.
discernment and the God in me. Cool. I'm good. Thank you.
And
Yeah, I don't
so
play
when you're in these domestic violence places, make sure that you get with a core group of people that are going to back you and strengthen you and help you to come out of that place, as well as there's real help out here.
that.
There are safety nests and safe havens that are there with therapists and people that can really help to get you back on your feet. Sometimes it's not
Yes,
about money. All
yes,
domestic violence, it's not that I can't afford, it's that I don't feel safe nowhere, because some people
yes,
are in true places where if the person get them or get their hands on them, they'll get mad at you for leaving or telling that
yes,
they've been abusive, and it'll trigger something greater in them. And
yes.
so just adhere to what we're saying and just find you a
Please.
place of safety. Find you
Yeah,
a safe place. We threw out several places here in Michigan
you
that you
did.
can go to, but whatever place you are, and that 1-800 is a national line, and they will connect you to people that are within your state, within your county, within your city that can help you. Don't be afraid to get help. Don't stay in these places, and you are valuable. Let me say that you are valuable.
Yes, come
Know
on
that
with
you
the
are
affirmations.
you are valuable, and
Yes, honey, you
you
very
are
worthy.
worthy of
Very
love.
worthy
You
of
are
love,
worthy of love, and you are
of
worthy enough
life.
for you to love yourself, right? So love
Come on
yourself
now.
enough and love your children enough.
Yeah,
You are God, you are like the apple of God's eye. He
you
created you with
are.
purpose, with destiny, with intention, and it was never for you to be mishandled, for you to be abused, for you to be neglected, because sometimes it's neglection. Like people are in houses, that's a
Yeah,
form of abuse, that's a form of emotional abuse. You live in a
yeah.
house and people won't even speak to you, right? And so that's a form of abuse. Get help. Get help, because those things are things that tear away and peel away at our psyche and at our brain and at our mind. So yes, we got to get help, and not all of it ain't spiritual. There's a spiritual side, and then there's a practical side. And so a lot of it is spiritual, but if you deal with the spiritual side but you don't deal with the practical side, you need to get a balance of help on when you're in abusive situations, because
And
some of it
listen,
is spirit and some of it is natural.
if you don't have a church, let me give you an address. My pastor is Pastor Sam Moore. Okay. And we have a Pastor Barbara Bankston right here on this line. But I'm going to talk to you about Conqueror's Church. Okay. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a church home, I want you to come on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. The most packed, what the most it's an hour and a half of power. Okay. It's 31542 Gratiot Avenue, Roseville, Michigan, 48066. That's right in the Sam's club parking lot. We bought that Dorsey College. They have that there. And I want you to guys to come out and just worship with us, and whatever you need, God will provide. He said, delight yourself in me and I will give you the desires of your heart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Barbara.
I love you too. And if you need a church and you don't want to come all the way to Macomb County, I know several churches. Or if you're on the other side of Macomb County, I know several
Oh, come
churches
out.
from New Haven, is Greater New Hope.
Yes.
Pastor, the Winter Circle is right there in Mount Clemens with Pastor
Yes.
Leon McDonald. Walking the Spirit is right in, and I'm talking about people that I know that I have connection with. These are people that I have relationships. Right in Detroit, Walking the Spirit. Pastor Apostle Rayvon Shipman. Trying to think of
Listen,
who
Mount
else.
Clemens, there's Pastor Leroy Robbins right there in New Life in Christ on 42 Moser Place in
Mm-hmm.
Mount Clemens, Michigan. All right. He's at Bible study on Wednesdays, Sunday school, and church on Sunday. I think it starts at 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let me back. I don't know if they have Sunday school, but I know that they start at 11:30 on Sundays.
And then
Yeah.
there's Evangel Christian Churches right here in
Mhm.
Roseville,
Yeah.
with Dr. Cheryl Piscopo. Um,
Yeah.
Greater New Life on in Clinton Township with Pastor
Mhm.
Benny D. Midler. I mean, there's
Mhm.
tons. I mean, just inbox me if you need a church. That is not a problem. We got some
Yeah.
safe places where you can go and worship and be
Yes.
safe. So you just had if that's that spirit, man, that's that balance. But you need more than that church. You're gonna need to get to a safe place. The church is a
Yeah.
good place, but unless the church has things in it that's lined up to talk to your situation, it may not be everything that you need. So we want to get you to a balance. So yes, the church house is a good place, but all churches do not have things that are set up to speak specifically to that domestic violence. So they have connections where they can get you to that place, but they may not
Mhm.
have it set up in the church house. So we want to make sure that you get that balance of being, yes, in the church, but we need you also make sure you get to a therapist. Some people need therapists. You need to be in a
Yeah.
safe place where you can feel free to bear what's going on inside of you so that you can get proper healing as well.
And not only that, some might need to stay in the house. Don't be afraid of that.
Don't be
Okay.
afraid of staying in the house. But I would say
Sometimes.
but I would say that it's good to connect to a shepherd because you want somebody that's going to be praying. And then there's houses that have intercessors in them and that they
Yes.
will intercede. They won't tell your business and they will put you on the altar. And those things are all good. And then I know that Walk in the Spirit, he's very, Apostle Ray he's a social worker by trade. So he's very connected to that vein of what people need socially and how to get you help and assistance and get you to safe havens and all the things that everything in that lane of social work and that place of helps, the ministry of helps. He's very well equipped for that. So there's certain places that will cater to that because that's where their gift, their skill, and their talent lies, right? And so, and then there's some churches that they have connections because they're a church, so they know how to get you to those places, but it's not in house. And so I just want you to, I just want to be aware. But I do believe it's important when you're in places like this. The church is always a good place to run to, but know that sometimes you need to get to a safe place where you can be hidden, like you said.
Amen.
Elijah he was hidden in that cave.
See.
Yeah.
So listen, I wanted to say this before we get off into some of the how they can find me and if they need some of my services. You know what? Let's just go into that before we get off because there's something else coming up here pretty soon. If you need anybody having any issues with sciatic nerve, I am, sciatic nerve. That's my thing. My hands are healing. So I do have a suite where you could come, and then I am mobile. So if you need a massage, you need some therapy, I am available to come to you. You can call 313-248, I'm sorry, 248-982-1185 to book an appointment or inbox me, or you can go to the Mashiba's Healing Hands Massage Therapy on Facebook. Also, go to Just For Us Catering. All right. I told you I'm an artist as well. And I have a song called Just For Us. So go Google that, Just For Us by Mashiba Webb, and then go to Just For Us Catering. And that's also me. So if you want some good old ribs, some macaroni, some greens, Barbara don't mess with my food because she bougie. Okay, she got to eat salads and carrots and things like that, So she don't mess with my smackaroni.
It's not that I don't mess with it. I am very intentional in this season about losing weight. I had that sciatica nerve, girl, and that thing, it threw me back. I had that
Yeah.
thing that bothered me for about 2.5 months. I'm just now back on my workout regimen. I gained some weight. I had just been I had lost like 16 pounds up until that point and turned around. I didn't gain that much though. I only gained about maybe 6 or 7, about maybe 10, somewhere between. But still, I could barely walk. I could barely do anything,
Yeah.
but I could eat. But
Yeah.
so that wasn't that bad. And so I probably didn't even gain 10. I probably gained about 6 pounds. But I was just on such a good roll. It just
Yeah.
made me so angry because I was on this rapid, like getting that weight off. So Mashiba worked me out. She worked out my sciatica nerve and
Yeah.
and then from there I went into therapy and I'm all the way back to full motion in my body. So
Back to life. That's what you
that
love.
thing it will hurt you.
Yeah,
So
it
what
will.
else? Do you have anything else going on? So I am a
I
part of
do.
the Mishiba Web Show. So make
Yeah,
sure that it's every Friday
every Friday.
on
On
Envision
the
Anna.
no, on WGOD every
Okay.
Friday and then every Thursday on
Awesome.
envision/radio.com. Okay.
Yes. And
Yes.
you can watch it on Facebook.
Yeah. Or you listen, it's so many places we out there. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see Miss Barbara Bankston on the love. She's the love guru. Okay. She's we love you. Did I say I love you this time again? How many times have I said it since we've been on this
You
video?
said it a couple times.
I love you. That makes three.
Don't call me
I
the
love
love guru because I'm single still.
you. That's why you the guru. Because you know what's best, honey. I'm trying to tell you right now. Sometimes you need to be single.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing actually.
Uh,
And so I'm excited. Tomorrow night I will be well actually on yes, I will be on with my sister Pastor Dana.
yeah.
We're doing a
Now wait,
sister
you there?
show.
Is this Dana? What's
Yeah,
her?
Dana Mitzel.
Okay. All right.
And
Cool.
and then on Wednesday I will be on with Erica Lynn speaks. We're going
Okay.
to be talking about purpose, and so
Yeah.
I will be on her podcast coming up. Erica Lynn speaks, and I have lots of amazing things. My book is in the final edits with my editor, and so we have already planned the book signing. I will release that date soon. My website is almost done. You'll be able to go on and pre-order the book from the website as we're preparing. I will send out books before the book signing, or you can pick them up at the book signing and I'll sign it, or bring your book to the book signing and just meet me. I can't wait to meet everyone. So that's going to be super fun. We're going to kick it off at a very special time. Mashiba, but I'm not everyone else the date, but it's special for me, special to us because when
You
that is and what that is.
you were breaking up. Say that last part again. I didn't hear
I
you. You
said
had broke.
we will oh, okay, so I said that we will I will share the release of the book signing cuz and the book and the website, it will be on my website probably by the end of this week. The website will be completely up and you can actually do the pre-sales for the book.
Yeah.
So we're super excited about unmasking. So today we unmask domestic violence.
Yes,
Um,
unmasking that debate. And listen, is there anything that you would like to say before we get up out of here? Because I listen, all I
I
know is go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna no, go ahead because I still need to think on a couple of things. Go ahead. Because what
So the final thing that I would say is just remember that you are enough, right? And you are
yeah,
worthy.
yes,
You are worthy of everything that you believe that you are worthy of and
yes,
more, because you probably think less of what you should be and what you should have than what God or what you really deserve
yeah.
in life. So don't think that you have to stay in this place of being mishandled, misused, or abused. Allow yourself and then heal through those situations and get to a safe place and get with some people that are going to really lift you and really carry you.
Amen. That's beautiful. I just want to say, don't. We talked about our don'ts, or yeah, don'ts. Don't give up. Don't give
Mm-hmm.
up. Don't give up. We talked about the church. If you need prayer, you need church. Listen, I put my number out there for another reason as well. If you are a woman and you need clothes, you can reach
Mm-hmm.
out for whatever reason, for work, church, suits, pants, dresses, skirts, blouses, jackets, whatever you need. Just give me a call. God has He's using me to help. I reach do outreach missions for the homeless and things like that. So if you need, in a situation that you don't have anything or you need something, just reach out to us. The Mashiba Web Show. You can also go. I want you guys to go to mashibaweb.com. That's really where all the uninterrupted shows are, and the old shows you can go back and see that are in the archive. Um, but yeah, I want you to just, like Miss Barbara said, you are more than enough. You are what God says you are. All
Mm-hmm.
right, you are what God says you are, and just don't give up. That's all I can say. Heal and don't give up. Do whatever you have to do to get out of that situation, because if you make the first step, God will do the rest. I promise.
That's good. So have an amazing, amazing day, evening. Please share when you get your hands on this. Share. And again, if you need any help, any assistance, DM me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify.
We
Just
on
DM.
we
Yeah,
everywhere.
we're everywhere. DM one of us, and we will get you together. We will help your life get together. We
Yes.
can't personally do it. We know
To
enough
help them.
people
Yeah.
within our network of people that can really assist you and help you to get into better places. Amen. And so with that, have an amazing, amazing, amazing evening.
I love you, Barbara.
I love you.
Bye bye.